Hey everyone, Mako here, and I have not uploaded in 2 weeks, and honestly, that's just because I was still getting my shit together after that 24-hour stream I did. Yep, I did a 24-hour stream 2 weeks ago, like I've mentioned in the community posts, and my god, that was a mistake. And let me tell you about it. But before I get into the talking about the stream and how it went and my thoughts on streaming for that long in general, some organizational things. First of all, the next video that's coming out will be Prince of Persia Warrior Within. That's because that was the game that I finished playing on stream, and I have a bunch of things to say about it. After that, probably Prince of Persia Two Thrones, because that was the second game that I've played through right after Warrior Within. And then either another game, or I will be getting straight into an essay that I've been planning on Prince of Persia trilogy. So yeah, if you're interested in that, well, leave a sub, like the video, ring a bell, you'll get notified about the video when it comes out. But yeah, outside of that, let's get on with the streaming thing. So you see, I had this idea that if I can make YouTube videos, I should be fine streaming, right? And I've tried streaming before. Like you can probably find some like old streams of mine when I've done like Total War Warhammer, Elden Ring on my Twitch channel. But I just thought that it would be easy, that I would be able to just get on stream and start talking to myself about the game, and eventually people would come. So I thought to myself, well, what if I made a 24-hour stream? Like, it can't be that hard, right? I already play games a lot, especially when in my free time. Why wouldn't I stream for 24 hours and see how much I can get done in 24 hours? And yeah, that was not a good idea whatsoever. So yeah, what was the plan exactly? Well, my thought process, my plan was to boot up a stream on Twitch and play through as many games as possible on stream over 24 hours and see, I don't know, maybe how many people would join in to watch. So I decided that I will be streaming in the retro category because, well, the games that I was playing were old. Like, most of the games I was playing were old enough to actually drink alcohol at this point, which would categorize them in a retro category by now. So the plan was to finish Prince of Persia Warrior Within, then go into Prince of Persia The Two Thrones and finish that as well, and then play through Serious Sam The First Encounter, either in the HD remaster or in the original version. I have both. And I've opted in to play the HD version because, well, it just ran better on my current hardware. You know how it is, technical difficulties for older games to play on newer hardware, all that bullshit. So yeah, that was the plan. And then maybe after I've played through Serious Sam First Encounter, it would be Anno 1404. It ended up just being Anno 1404 after Prince of Persia The Two Thrones because I was too exhausted to actually be able to perform in Serious Sam after 16 hours, I believe. But yeah, that was the plan. Now let's talk about why I think that was a mistake to boot up a stream that long. Here's the reason number one, and it's just how exhausting staying up all night for 24 hours minimum is. I have never felt it before. When I was a little bit younger, I was able to pull off an all-nighter, maybe have a 30-minute nap, and I was good to go again. When I was studying at university, I was just capable of, having multiple 24-hour sessions of just go to uni, go back home, play some games, study, go back to uni, back to back to back. I don't think I'm able to do it anymore. I think I'm getting a little bit too old. In fact, I don't know if the vote is still available, but if it is available on my Twitch channel, you should be able to see that, well, after a 12-hour mark, I believe, I just stopped talking as much as I used to. So yeah, I just think that I'm unable to like keep up the pace and energy that I had at the beginning of the stream, and essentially talking to myself for the entirety of 24 hours. I think it just, you know, the mental exhaustion just kind of sets in at some point, and you just will not be entertaining anymore. Like I when I started playing Anno 1404, I feel like I just zoned out for 8 hours and I was just playing through the motions, talking a little bit in chat whenever somebody would speak up, and sometimes I wouldn't even notice at that point that somebody said something because, well, yeah, it took me a goddamn while. But yeah, that's just like reason number one. It's just too exhausting. I mean, maybe if you're doing it for charity, that might work, because then being up 24 hours, that could prove entertaining. You have a plan, but that will bleed into my other point, which is essentially just having an idea what you want to do, what you want to accomplish during a stream. So my thought was just, okay, there are these 4 games that I have in mind to play through, and we'll just go from there. We'll see what happens. I honestly should have just had a plan of, okay, we're gonna play through this game, which would be Warrior Within, then the 2 Thrones, because that was also on my agenda, and then instead of thinking of something that would be so intense, like my thought behind Serious Sam was, it would wake me up, you know? But it ended up just exhausting me even more. So my thought should have been, okay, we have those 2 games that I really want to play through, and then the next thought was, well, maybe just play some Anno afterwards, like some game where you can just kind of chill out. And yeah, that should have been a plan. Now, if I were doing like a bigger stream, probably my plan would have been more robust. I would be probably able to do more stuff within those 24 hours. But I wasn't having that much of an audience, right? So what's the point in like creating this like Kai Senator speed like shows when I'm not able to do them, right? And well, while I'm on the topic of actually being entertaining and talking and not being exhausted and having a plan, here's point number 3. I realized how hard it is to just talk to yourself when you don't really have a plan of saying things, right? Like when I'm making these YouTube videos for you guys, usually I have things written out. I have my thoughts already created, written on paper, or in my case, in a Word document, and I know what I'm going to say, and then I just read it out, because otherwise I would forget. But that means that my thoughts are cohesive, and these videos are filled with me talking. During a stream, you know, I didn't really have an idea of what to talk about, at least initially. You see, when nobody was really watching, or like I had 1 or 2 people that weren't really chatting, they were just lurking, I was just talking about what I'm doing, what I'm thinking right now, right? And that's probably all that I was doing. And I realized that it was way easier the moment that somebody showed up and started talking. When they started talking to me in chat, I was just responding to them, and then I was like giving my thoughts, and I became way more energetic, because I think it's like a dopamine hit or something. Like you see somebody's actually watching, trying to make conversation with you while you're playing, meaning that they are interested in what you're doing. So then I became more active. But when that wasn't the case, when I knew that I had like maybe like 1 viewer that was just lurking, I just was like kind of going through the motions. I feel like if I want to stream more regularly, and I do, or if anybody would want to stream more regularly, that means that I need to start thinking that I'm having a conversation in chat with people, even though there is nobody. And maybe that could attract more people, right? Because then I wouldn't be just talking like, oh yeah, I need to get up here, or I need to wall run here, and oh god, this part is annoying or something, right? I would actually try to be quote unquote entertaining, act like I actually have a plan. But right now I wasn't able to do it, so that's something I would need to work on. But on the note of actually talking to people, I would like to give a shout out especially to two people, to Squeaky, who just randomly dropped in and just gifted 10 subs for, well, no reason, and then stayed up with me and like talked to me for, I believe, somewhere close to like 3 or 4 hours on stream, basically like finishing the entirety of Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within with him. And honestly, that was so fun. Like, I could actually talk about things and then I would get a response. And yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, right? Actually having a conversation. And also to My Guy One for also popping up randomly in certain moments to just talk a little bit, even though I may have not responded at all times, but I tried. And then the number 4 thing I noticed is I need to figure out my technical difficulties before anything happens. Like, oh yeah, we can laugh about stuff like, oh yeah, shitty productions and all that, right? But I didn't even realize that for parts of my stream, I was muted and literally talking to myself, not even like talking to somebody in chat, actually talking to myself, even though I was trying to respond to people, because my microphone would be on voice activation, but I forgot that I have a couple of buttons on my keyboard that were bound in my recording software to push to talk. And the second I would accidentally press those buttons, my mic would go from voice activation to push to talk, meaning nobody could hear me, sometimes for like 10 minutes, sometimes for 15 minutes. But yeah, like there were times where I actually was talking to myself and nobody could hear me. And I bet that was such a big problem at times. Like, I bet that because of that, somebody would just decide like, yeah, it's not worth watching, right? So yeah, these were just a couple of my thoughts on streaming for that long. Well, they also apply to streaming in general, right? But specifically to streaming for such a long period of time. And I wouldn't say that you never should do a 24-hour stream, but like I mentioned earlier, I would say that's something that you would kind of like have in store, reserved for like big streamers who have large audiences and who, I don't know, make a charity event, right? And then, in fact, staying up for 24 hours could be some sort of like a challenge in an event. But for someone like me, I don't think I should be doing that. So I don't know, maybe under some like very specific circumstances somewhere in the future I would do a 24-hour stream, but that would have to like be an actual goal of some sorts, because right now, yeah, I was able to stream for 24 hours and I think I've only had like a 30-minute break in that time just to kind of like take a shower and eat something. But I don't think that it did anything for anyone. Well, except for me having material for Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within and The Two Thrones, which, well, that also helps me out, right? But I feel like just my mental and my ability to actually problem solve in these games was also just going down the drain with every hour I was playing that way. So yeah, that was all that I wanted to talk about today. It's just a quick kind of like update video, my thoughts video. Like I said, 3 more videos in the works. I am currently working on the first 2. They should be releasing fairly soon. I hope that this week, by the end of the weekend, I should have released at least one, if not both, the videos on Prince of Persia games. And yeah, also, yeah, bonus announcement. So everyone knows that times are tough right now, right? And I had this goal on my stream, and that goal was mostly there because currently it's tough for me to support myself with my current job without like having to grab another one or just find a better job while simultaneously getting back home after like a really long day of work and creating these videos. If anybody wants to support me directly outside of watching the games and watching the videos, I will drop a temporary link to my donation page from Twitch in the description. but I'm also planning to create some sort of, I don't know, Patreon or something, and then maybe later, if Google and YouTube will be nice to me, I would like to set up the membership page on YouTube. I just need to first think of what I can offer to you guys outside of just early releases of the videos. So yeah, that's also just an update. And hey, if you like what I'm creating, if you like the videos, and if you want to see more, leave a like, leave a sub, hit that bell, because honestly, sometimes I just think that YouTube just doesn't recommend my videos at all to people, even if they sub. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. So bye-bye.